You come home and your chick's banging some dude. That would put me in a rage. Accept defeat. That is the only time when temporary defeat becomes failure, is when you accept it. So weak people exit life by hurting themselves. You know who doesn't have any problems in life? But people who don't have problems are dead. If you watch the Michael Jordan story, he wasn't good enough. I'm gonna waste it on feeling pity like a victim, or am I gonna channel that rage into having such fucking bananas? Well, guess what? You just proved that you're a nut job.
I've been through a lot of crap. I've been through a nasty divorce, lost most of my money. My business failed along with my marriage, and I lost over $500,000, and I'm only 30. This has left me feeling really down on myself to the point where sometimes I feel like hurting myself. I feel like I'm getting my ass kicked left and right. How do I get my drive and my edge back?
You know what? First off, congratulations. You're only 30 and you lost a lot of money and you hit rock bottom. 30. People experience that at 40, 50, and 60. Imagine, my friend, how they might feel. Sometimes when you have something to compare to and you realize, like, I'm only 30, like just a year ago, I was in my 20s. This guy's doing fine in life. If you got to a place where you lost $500,000, you lost it all, seems like you did a lot of great work to build a life. Sadly, you lost it. One, go back and go, what happened that I lost it? Did I fuck up somewhere in my relationship? Was I overworking? Was I neglecting my marriage? Did I pick the wrong spouse? That could happen. Did I pick the wrong spouse? Did I somehow get screwed by a business partner? If you find what the problem was, you can avoid it the next time you go to rebuild. Number one. Number two, you think hurting yourself is going to do anything? All that's going to do is prove that you're a loser. Like right now, he had temporary defeat. You know who doesn't have any problems in life? Because this man has problems, and I get it. But people who don't have problems are dead. Dead people have no problems. But this is not failure. This is not death. This is simply a temporary defeat. You are supposed to experience temporary defeats on the way to success. He is experiencing temporary defeat, but when you're down and out and you feel miserable and you feel like you've just had your ass handed to you, it does feel like this is the end. So then what do you do? Because hurting yourself is not an option. It's simply not. That is how weak people exit life, by hurting themselves. Weak people exit life by hurting themselves. For everyone else, if you've got a heartbeat and you've built it once, you can build it again by figuring out what you did wrong or what went wrong and course correct, number one. Number two, make the commitment that I'm not hurting myself. And number three, start stacking wins in areas that you can win in. Because if you feel defeated, if you feel you don't have your edge, if you feel like I just don't have that energy anymore, what can you do to get it back? For me, I can very easily go into the gym on a day that I feel off, that I feel weak, I feel tired, I feel like I had my ass handed to me trying to build a empire, and I can go and have a great workout listening to my playlist that just makes me feel good. And then at the end of a 40, 50, 60-minute workout, I walk out feeling like 80, 90% better. Right. And if I can stack a few of those awesome workouts, so I'm telling our friend here, control what you can, start stacking wins in areas that you can get quick results from. Start eating better, get your abs. Like, if I could snap my fingers and he wakes up lean, jacked with abs, I bet he'd have some kind of edge, because he'd be like, that's a handsome man in the mirror. Like, get your abs back, get jacked, get lean, start doing fun things again, learn to play chess, go read books, like stack other wins, go get Rosetta Stone and learn a new language. If you have the money, travel. If you don't, do what my friend Chanta does, stay at fucking hostels and travel the world. And you give Chanta $300, he'll go to 5 different countries. Like you can stack wins and have different experiences, but what you can't do is accept defeat. That is the only time when temporary defeat becomes failure, is when you accept it and then you pull the trigger, literally or metaphorically, and you end it. Yeah. Because there's no coming back from death, right? And so that's what our friend needs to do. He needs to stack wins and understand that this is the human condition and that he's only 30 years old, and this happens to people that are 45, 50, and 60. And so once he has that perspective, he knows that he can rebuild in just a couple of short years.
For sure. This made me think about, I mean, it may or may not be like maybe a different video, because I'm kind of switching topics, but it's the same in the fact that you lost something that was important to you. But I noticed that a lot of guys, especially in, you're definitely not manosphere, because you talk about a bunch of things, but your content just happens to be for men. But a lot of these guys in the comments are complaining about, you know, their girl cheated on them in the past, and they call it a red pill rage. Like these guys who watch all this red pill content, they're just mad at the world, they hate women, whatever. So basically, they lost something that was important to them, and they're just mad and they can't move on. So that could be for women, that can be for losing money, that can be for anything, right?
Like death. Like imagine like you hear your fucking mom and dad die in a car accident.
Right.
Right? Like that would put me in a rage.
Right.
Or you come home and your chick's banging some dude. That would put me in a rage.
Yeah.
Or like you said, out of the blue, hey, I want a divorce. And you just lost your whole fucking empire. That would put me in a rage. But what am I going to do? I'm going to take all that and feel pity for myself and feel like a victim. Take all that fucking awesome energy, that great fucking rage. I'm going to waste it on feeling pity and like a victim? Or am I going to channel that rage into having such a fucking awesome life that she's going to regret ever fucking looking at another dude, and that I can't bring my parents back, but I'm going to make so much money. I'm going to make sure that whatever caused my parents' death, that no other set of parents experience that death. Like Tim Grover in his book Relentless talks about the cooler, the closer, and the cleaner. And the cleaner is the Michael Jordan. Remember, he was the personal trainer for Michael Jordan, Dwayne Wade, Kobe Bryant, Charles Barkley. And he says that the cleaner is able to channel all of that rage that he has from his childhood, from the abuse, from the fucking shortcomings of life, from the losses that they've experienced. And he has conditioned those athletes of his to bring 48 minutes of what he calls controlled rage to the court, and that is how they win. Because when Michael Jordan's sneakers would hit that fucking court, every one of the opposition were all those coaches and all those other athletes that said you weren't good enough. Because that's, if you watch the Michael Jordan story, he wasn't good enough. Like he was a late bloomer. Every single one of his oppositions. But if he just recklessly is like, fuck you guys, and falls apart and goes fucking bananas, well, guess what? You just proved that you're a nut job.
Right.
But if he takes that rage and controls it for 48 minutes on that fucking court, he owns every single one of them. And that's how a legend is made. And so you are going to feel pain. You are going to feel sorrow. You are going to feel emotions of rage. What you do with it, how you channel it, determines whether you are a victim and and you cry about it and you feel pity for yourself, or you enable yourself and you turn that into a superpower and you use that to fuel the next best version of you.
Once upon a time, there was a young man named Jack who found himself at a crossroads in life. At just 30 years old, Jack had already experienced more hardship than most people do in a lifetime. He had gone through a bitter divorce, lost most of his money, watched his business crumble, and saw over $500,000 vanish into thin air. These events left Jack feeling utterly defeated, to the point where he sometimes contemplated hurting himself. One day, Jack reached out to an old mentor, someone he trusted for guidance and wisdom. "I've lost everything," Jack said, his voice filled with despair. "I feel like I'm getting my ass kicked left and right. How do I get my drive and my edge back?" The mentor listened carefully, then began to speak. "First off, Jack, congratulations. You're only 30 and you've hit rock bottom. Many people don't experience this until they're much older. Imagine how they might feel. You're young and you have time to rebuild." Jack frowned, still feeling the weight of his losses. "But I don't know where to start," he admitted. "Let's start with reflection," the mentor suggested. "Look back and understand what went wrong. Did you neglect your marriage? Did you choose the wrong business partner? Learn from these mistakes so you can avoid them in the future." Jack nodded slowly, beginning to see the wisdom in this advice. And Jack, the mentor, continued, "Hurting yourself won't solve anything. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. You're not a failure, you're facing a temporary defeat. Remember, only dead people have no problems. You're alive, and that means you can still turn things around." The mentor's words began to sink in. "So what should I do?" Jack asked, feeling a glimmer of hope. "Start by stacking small wins," the mentor advised. "Control what you can. Go to the gym and have a great workout. Eat better. Take up new hobbies. Learn a new language. Travel if you can. These small victories will help you rebuild your confidence and regain your edge. The mentor paused, then added, channel your negative emotions into something productive. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest athletes of all time, used his rage and frustration to fuel his success on the court. You can do the same. Use your setbacks as motivation to create an even better version of yourself. Jack felt a sense of determination rising within him. So I need to control my rage and use it to my advantage, he asked. Exactly. The mentor confirmed. You're going to feel pain and sorrow, but how you channel those emotions will determine your future. Don't see yourself as a victim. Use your experiences to fuel your comeback with a newfound sense of purpose. Jack thanked his mentor. He realized that his journey wasn't over. It was just beginning. Armed with these insights and a plan to rebuild his life, Jack set out to turn his temporary defeat into the foundation of his future success.